The first step is really recognizing it, that you have an attachment issue. That's great. Don't feel bad about yourself. Don't talk shit to yourself. Don't feel guilty. Accept it and recognize why is it that you have that attachment style. What part of you are they attached to? Is it because you're afraid of being lonely and that's why you're attached to them because their company? If it is that feeling lonely, then you have to learn to be alone. You have to be okay with being alone. I believe you're never really alone, but you have to learn to be alone and not depend on somebody else's company and somebody else's comfort. Just because they're there, you feel secure. Like, no, you need to make yourself feel secure in your own space. You need to feel safe in your own body. Create that safe space for you to really express yourself. You don't feel safe because you don't even accept your true self. You judge yourself. That's not a safe environment for yourself. You want to stop criticizing yourself. You want to stop judging yourself and being so harsh on yourself. You want to start loving yourself. You need to gain that confidence to be able to be alone, to be able to do what it is that you truly want to do without somebody else's reassurance, without somebody else's support or help, with them telling you, yeah, you should go for it. You know, sometimes you want that second opinion. You need to go with your gut. Like, you need to go with your intuition and just fucking do it. And going in with that positive mindset, taking that risk, and just, even if it does, you always want to stay positive, and even if it doesn't go the way you plan it to be and you want it to be, still appreciating that whole time, the whole progress. You know, it's all about the journey and enjoy it. Is it because they love you? They show some type of love to you. That's because you don't show any love to yourself. You lack self love. And you really need to stop depending on people for anything. You know, stop expecting anything from them. That's when the alone time comes in, when you should start chilling by yourself and getting to know yourself. You learn that you don't need to depend on nobody but yourself. And it depends why it is that you're attached to them. Some past trauma, you know, which you need to heal and you need to work on. Heal that attachment style that you have. You get too comfortable in any situation. It could be a friendship. It could be just, you know, with family, in a relationship, especially in relationships. A lot of the times, it's not even really true love. It's just they're attached to them. They're too attached, you know, and they just get too comfortable there thinking they can't do better. And if it's toxic, especially if it's just a negative environment, people say, I'll just deal with it. I'm used to it. Like, you're used to that toxicity. You're used to people not being loyal to you, to talking bad things to you, talking negatively to you, always bringing you down, making you feel sad, angry, some type of way. Like, you're used to that. You're used to that because you haven't healed. You're sad and you're angry and you're just attracting other people like you. They're a mirror of us. So that's why you need to heal first and work on yourself. You can't be used to that. You have to change. And if you want change, change starts with you. It's not also just like, you know, getting rid of them or whatever, you know, like breaking up with that person. Okay, yeah, but that's when you should start working on yourself. You know, start changing your ways and healing that attachment style. It's not an attachment that you should have with somebody, it's a true connection. Because you can love somebody without feeling attached, you know, just loving them for who they are, not worrying about whether breaking up or even with a friendship, like, you know, growing into two different people, but just accepting, loving that person for who they are at that moment. Dealing with that by just saying you're used to it, you're just hurting yourself. You don't want to hurt yourself, you want to love yourself. Love yourself enough to get the fuck up and walk away from that, to get away from that environment and change for the better. You grow. Sometimes you might not want to leave and grow because you feel like you're leaving them behind, and you just have like this idea, this thought of them being able to change, and you have this scenario in your head of them changing, you guys being happy. But you need to let go of that. You can't change people. People change for themselves, and if they are willing to. You can't change somebody that doesn't want to fucking change. If you have to outgrow that, you have to fucking outgrow that. It's for your best. It's on them, dude. Like, you can't do nothing about it. You have to think about you and put yourself first. You need to get out of that negative bubble, physically, mentally, spiritually. You know, like I said, if you break up with somebody, yeah, that's, you know, physically getting, like, detaching yourself from them, but you need to do it mentally. You need to process it, feel it out, feel all the these emotions. You know, it's fine if you feel angry and sad for a bit, but don't let that consume you. Don't let that take over you. You know, those emotions control you. You control them. You have to love yourself enough to just keep going and just keep doing your thing. You're going to detach yourself from them. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, get rid of everything that reminds you of them. Pictures, you know, all that stuff. You just really have to detach yourself because you want to let go of the old to make room for the new. You will attract people once you heal, once you start healing, once you start working on yourself and working on becoming that best version of yourself, you will attract people that will align with your energy and your vibe. People are always like, oh, but that was my best friend of I don't know how many years. We did this and that. They're my family, da da da. But if you're losing a person, don't think negative about it. The worst scenario, you're never gonna find love again. Love, if it was even love. You're never gonna find a best friend. For any situation, think about it positively. Just believe it was for the best for you. One of the biggest things that helped me repeating in my head, let them be. If it was friends that, let's say, didn't invite you somewhere and you know you feel some type of way because they didn't invite you, and you know you start thinking all these things like, oh, they're not my real friends, or like, you know, you feel sad or angry, all these mixed emotions. I don't know, you wanted them to invite you, you want to even call them and be like, dude, what the fuck, this and that. I don't know, let them be. If it's family that have a family gathering and don't invite you, let them be. They're able to express themselves in any way. They're able to be whoever the fuck they want. They are slowly going to show you who they truly are. Stop trying to control them. Stop trying to pull them in. If they're slowly detaching and just showing their true colors, let them be. You will realize that maybe those people aren't the best for you. Those are not the people you should be surrounding yourself with. Those aren't real people. Those aren't loyal people. Those aren't people who truly love you. Like for me, I didn't have like a serious attachment issue. It was a little bit hard for me to detach from people mentally. I was able to, like, you know, physically detach. That's easy for me. I would literally just stop talking to you and stop hanging out with you. But it was hard for me to detach mentally and emotionally, mainly because I didn't know how. Energies bond, and I didn't know about energy back then. I didn't know how it worked and how negative energy sticks onto you, and just toxic energy. People try to, like, you know, get into your mind certain things, and just the way you're molded growing up with certain beliefs, you know, thinking you have to do things a certain way or else you're gonna be seen bad by your family and not fit in. You're gonna be different. People think you're gonna be weird, this and that. Yeah, I didn't know how that worked before, and I didn't know how to properly emotionally and mentally detach. But I mean, there's not really like a proper way, but I tried out different things, and you know, I used and occurring use what works best for me. I get all up in my head. I get all up in my thoughts, and I was a very negative person, so I would just think of like the worst, and I would just play different scenarios. And I was a big what if person too. You grow up with people telling you to give people second chance, which I used to do, and just have that belief that, oh, but people can change, you know. And I just had like this idea of them being a better person and them changing. I was really big on me wanting to help people change, because I've always felt like that. I've always felt like I could inspire people and, like, you know, help them change, but I wasn't changing myself, you know. And that was the thing that I learned to work on. You cannot force, like, you know, change nobody, and you have to change yourself first in order to see change around you. I would detach myself from them, but then still think, what if I gave them a second chance, or what if then they do change and become like the person I wanted them to become. So I would just have like those type of scenarios. You literally just have to like mentally let it go and let go of that energy. Practice meditation, journal it, you know, like let it go in different ways and what works best for you. Doing it for you, like having in mind that this is what's best for you. This is showing love to yourself and working towards building that connection to yourself, building a connection with your highest self, with your soul. Once you start changing, it will slowly all detach itself. But you have to truly, you know, like also meditate on it, if you want to call it meditating, and just like imagine them and forgiving them, just letting them go, letting go of those ideas, literally, mentally letting it go. If they did something to you, you know, and if you just say, if you gave them so many chances, don't feel bad about it and don't feel sad and be angry at yourself, but forgive yourself and forgive them. Just say you love them, but you gotta let them go. you let them go with love. Just wishing them the best, not hating either, but just letting that energy that doesn't serve you anymore, that you don't need anymore, and just bye bye. Sometimes you just still have that buildup inside of you, that sad feeling, that angry feeling, that resentment, and that's not good because it just keeps building up. So you want to be able to just let that go.